After days of flight delays, disruptions, anger and agony at airports across the country, especially in the north, owing to fog and other circumstances, some good news for passengers and flyers. The government has just issued new standard operating procedures to make delays and announcements more binding on airlines, so there is greater clarity and predictability for passengers. In view of the fog-induced disruptions, Jyotiraditya Sindhia, Civil Aviation Minister, has announced standard operating procedures on mitigating, alleviating passenger inconvenience have been issued to all airlines today. I want to take you through some of those new standard operating procedures. This is, remember, in addition to the existing rules. The Civil Aviation Ministry has sought incident reporting thrice daily for all 6 metro airports. That is the 4 big metro cities, plus Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Implementation of the Directorate General of Civil Aviation directives, SOPs and CARs will be monitored and reported regularly, which is just words really. We will have to see once it's actually in action. War rooms, says Civil Aviation Minister Sindhia, are being set up by airports and airline operators at the 6 metro airports to address any issues with regard to passenger inconvenience with immediacy. Sufficient security manpower availability will be ensured around the clock. The Delhi airport has also made another Cat 3 runway operational today, which is actually an impact of India Today's sharp reporting on this issue in yesterday's broadcast. I want to bring in India Today's Poulomi Saha, who tracks civil aviation for us. Poulomi, are these new standard operating procedures going to be of any use? I'm wondering why some of these things hadn't been done already, but still some good movement forward. At least the voices of passengers are being heard.
Absolutely, some good movement forward. Some of these might seem very standard at this moment, but the fact is they needed to be reiterated because of the chaos that we witnessed at airports over the last few days, especially at Delhi airport. Though, of course, dense fog has impacted flight operations in airports across North India and in the eastern parts of the country as well. So now what the Civil Aviation Ministry has mandated is that there will be incidents reporting sought daily, thrice from the 6 metro airports, that's Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. And then, of course, war rooms will be set up by airports and airlines again at these 6 metro airports. There will, of course, be CISF manpower, which will be ensured in good strength at these airports. And what is going to be very critical and what is very important and good news for Delhi is that, yesterday we've done a story about how there were cranes that were obstructing the ILS, which is the instrument landing system, in terms of the localizer signal on one end of the only operational Cat 3B runway that we have at the moment at Delhi airport. So one end of the runway was in fact usable per se. The other end was being limited in some way because of these obstructions, which were of course obstructing radio navigation. Now those obstructions have been removed. So it's a fully functional runway. And the other runway that we've been talking about, the second Cat 3B compliant runway at Delhi airport, we're hoping by the 19th of January it will be operational. So you'll have 2 out of 4 Cat 3B runways operational at Delhi.
No, I want to make it a point to remind our viewers, this is very, very important. This is big breaking news that Poulomi is bringing to us. This is a sharp India Today impact story. And I want to just make that very clear for our viewers, because it is our reporting by Poulomi and her team here on India Today that has resulted in visible impact within hours at the Delhi airport, because this is what media pressure, viewer, really is. Now, let me explain. We did a story yesterday by Poulomi about how cranes were blocking one end of the Delhi airport's only operational Cat 3B equipped runway. Now, Cat 3B is a navigational category which allows very low visibility landings and takeoffs. That runway was blocked as a result of cranes, crowding around one end of that runway, and therefore that runway was in disuse. Now, those cranes and obstructions have been removed, and now both ends of the runway are Cat 3B operational. And this happened just hours after Poulomi broke that story here on India Today, putting the spotlight on that story and forcing the Civil Aviation Minister and the Airports Authority to get on it, remove those obstructions and activate that runway. Poulomi, clearly the Civil Aviation Ministry and the DGCA and the Airports Authority are watching India today because they removed those cranes hours after you broke that story.
Absolutely, and it had been there for a few days. Shiv, we accessed this letter that Delhi International Airport Limited wrote to NHAI and to the infrastructure company J. Kumar Infra, which is building the Dwarka Expressway, that these cranes are blocking the view. There was an SOP that was agreed upon that they would be brought down anytime there was low visibility conditions, because otherwise what happens is that one end of the runway is downgraded from Cat 3B to Cat 1, and that's just basically you're taking away a part of the resource, the only resource that you have in terms of the runway. The other workhorse runway of Delhi Airport is undergoing recarpeting work, and like I said, hopefully by 19th of January or just after that it will be operational. So we were completely reliant on dense fog days, and the weekend saw complete mayhem because of on that one runway, and one end of it is blocked. And 8th of January was when Delhi Airport wrote to NHAI and to J. Kumar Infra, and yet there was no movement. Those cranes were up there. We brought those fresh pictures from yesterday, from the daytime, before we put that story out, saying, look, they're still there, and they are blocking the the localizer signals of the ILS, which is what pilots are complaining about as well. Already they have quite a dangerous job to do, which is to land in these low visibility conditions, near zero visibility conditions, even if they're trained to do so. And then of course there's this problem, and thankfully someone was listening to us, and those obstructions are out of the way now. No
less than the government itself. Terrific reporting, Poulomi, and we will see much more such impact reporting on a story and a topic that affects us all. This is, airports that millions of people use every single day, and to see an entire runway being activated as a result of India Today's reporting hours after Poulomi broke that story, nothing more gratifying than that, and we will continue to keep the pressure. That is a guarantee. That continues to be a big focus story for us here on India Today.